What's up, everybody? We are back. Game Nights has finished. That means it's time for the round table in front of us. And we're going to be discussing Game Nights Zendikar Rising. Of course, we're joined by one of the players this time around. It is D, at CEREBRUSARMS on Twitter.
What's up, guys?
Unfortunately, Carolyn could not make it today, but if you want to check her stuff out, she's at Jacuzzi Tubs. So make sure to send her some love as well. It was great having both of you on the show.
Thanks. It was great being on. Sad Carolyn's not here. She's hilarious. While watching the episode, I just remembered how funny she was.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She was great. You guys had quite a slugfest there at the end. It was quite a nail biter.
Yeah.
It was one of our closer episodes ever, I'd say, as far as like not knowing who's going to win going into that final turn. It could have gone either way, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, top decking for the last card is pretty
Both
intense.
players. And she drew like 8 cards. We can talk more
It's
about
like she
later.
stays alive, you stay alive,
Yeah.
she stays alive, you finally won. Okay, yes, well, first of all, there's going to be spoilers in this episode since I'm saying that after I just spoiled the episode. But if you're watching the roundtable and you haven't watched the regular episode, it's kind of your fault, so I don't feel that bad. Wanted to say something really quick here. If, like Dee and Carolyn, you want to be on an episode of Game Nights, well, guess what? Now's your chance. We are doing auditions to be on Game Nights. We've done 2 fan episodes in the past. We're planning to do a 3rd fan episode sometime, hopefully in 2021, pandemic willing. Yeah, we don't know the timing on it exactly, but we are taking the audition submissions now. We're going to choose the winner over the course of a couple of months because we're going to get hundreds and hundreds of these. So all of the info, if you want to audition to be on Game Nights, you want to come to Los Angeles, you want to sit across the table from Jimmy and I, show the world your commander skills. Info in the show notes. There's a link. It'll have all the rules and restrictions and all that.
Yep, and of course, make sure you do it soon. There is a cutoff point as well, and that's coming up soon. Okay, so the goal of the roundtable episodes is, of course, there are so many comments on the episode. There's so much that happens between the filming of it, the editing of it, and then the final presentation to you all. That, of course, we've got questions, we've got most commented comments, and we've received them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., email as well. So, of course, if you want your comment to eventually show up on one of these episodes, maybe with those little bubble pop noises that doop, they always use.
We don't do the noises, but yeah.
Okay. You can do it yourself. Make sure you watch and comment on the Game Nights videos in the first 24 hours because we tend to record these pretty soon afterwards.
Yeah, we need to record the roundtable right away, so we take about a day, gather the comments, and say, okay, here's the talking points. So if you want to see your name on the episode, a future roundtable episode, first 24 hours is the best chance to do that. We already did the spoiler warning, but spoiler alert, there's no way to do this without talking about the episode in depth, so we will be spoiling it. If you haven't seen the episode, pause, go watch it, come back. Okay.
Yeah, what are you doing? Don't watch this yet.
Yeah. But also don't feel bad if you see your comment pop up. We recognize that no one's dumb for having the questions, especially if it's a commonly asked questions. Josh, as an editor, this is actually really valuable feedback, right?
Yeah, I would say that, most of the time when a lot of people are commenting on something, even if like technically the comments are incorrect, like they were like thinking something about the game that wasn't true, it's probably our fault from the production standpoint in that we didn't explain things correctly. So don't feel bad if we take your comment and go, actually, that's wrong. Here's why. But we do like to clear things up just so that we're not misrepresenting the game, right? We don't want people to like watch Game Nights and be like, this is how it works for sure. And then, whoops. and we do get rules wrong sometimes. I mean, we're playing with new cards and, obviously we make play mistakes as well.
And rules changes also happen sometimes before recording.
Oh, that's happened a couple times. Yeah, that sucks.
The best was when the rules change happened and then when we recorded, we made the mistake. That was now no longer a mistake.
Yeah, because the rules change actually helped us. That happens too. Okay, let's talk, speaking of rules, about the rules-based questions or confusion going on. So the first one is about Akiri's ability and can you draw more than one card off of Akiri? A lot of people were like, hey, Josh, you're drawing too many cards. We have a clip here.
Common complaint.
Yeah.
That was my complaint of the game, too. I was tired of everyone drawing cards.
All right, let's play the clip. All right, then I'll go to combat, and I have to swing at 2 players because of Akiri, and I'm going to swing Akiri at D and Relic Seeker at Jimmy. And Akiri, I draw for each player I'm attacking with an equipped creature, which is 2, so I'll draw 2.
Gross. Yeah, very gross.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to read Akiri, Jimmy?
Okay, so the main text on Akiri that makes a difference here is whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. And I can see why this is a little confusing because it says you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures. 1 or more, you're attacking with a lot of creatures, that's only 1 card. Well, it's whenever you attack a player, right? So if I attacked D and Josh with 2 creatures both equipped, they're both going to trigger separately. And boom, 2 cards.
Yeah, you trigger for each player you're attacking, which informs some of the attacking decisions I made at certain points in the game. And that well, I want to draw an extra card, so I'm going to split my attack.
Which is why, you didn't just like focus in on me, which is everyone seems very adamant on that. You should have focused in on me. But Josh wanted to draw cards.
Yeah, we can't blame him. He's in Boros. What is he supposed to do?
We will definitely discuss that moment a little bit later on, because you're right. A lot of people brought it up. All right, the next sort of confusion was surrounding the party mechanic, and specifically the PACKBEAST that Carolyn plays. So again, we have a clip. Let's play that clip.
And then I'll play a Stonework PACKBEAST.
Oh, this is interesting. Carolyn now has 3 of her 4 party members because the Stonework PACKBEAST can count for 1 of any of them. It's something the party might actually be a little easier than I thought it was gonna be. Party on.
So a lot of people were like, wait a minute. The PACKBEAST says that it's all of the tribes that you need for a party, so she should just have a full party with that one creature, and
Wouldn't
her
that be
nimble
nice?
trap finder should be turned on, and she should be drawing cards. And yeah, I think common sense hopefully would kick in and be like, would they really design a card?
That'd be the most expensive card in the set. If that was the case.
Here's the thing about the party mechanic is each creature on your battlefield can only count for 1 creature in the party. So you cannot have a full party without having at least 4 creatures, because even if something is a changeling where it would be warrior, cleric, rogue, and wizard, it would only be able to fill one of your party slots, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And Stonework PACKBEAST doesn't say this on the card, so I can see why people are confused, because the way that rules text works is if there's not enough space on the card to explain what a party is, you just don't see it. So you read Stonework PACKBEAST and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a changeling for all 4 things. Just 1, can only count for 1.
Yeah, but if he had 4 of them, you could
true.
do it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Or a PACKBEAST.
And actually, there were some comments asking like, well, she didn't have a wizard. The PACKBEAST was filling in for the wizard role. She had a warrior, cleric, and a rogue.
Right.
That's why PACKBEAST is so good, right? If you have a warrior and a cleric and a PACKBEAST, now you can either draw a wizard or a rogue and play it, and the PACKBEAST will just fill into whatever slot isn't taken. Yeah.
And I think they're all in the art too. They're sort of falling behind the PACKBEAST. It's holding all their gear.
It just kind of fills in the spot you need. They're just like, hey, we don't have this warrior. This thing will be the warrior for our group.
A guy pops out the pop. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
All right. The next rules question was about CHEVILL. A lot of people saying, well, wow, Carolyn missed a lot of triggers and abilities to put bounty counters onto stuff. Well, let's show the clip here.
On my upkeep, CHEVILL will trigger. I will put a bounty counter on the Benevolent Bodyguard.
Every job has a price.
Oh, all right. CHEVILL voiced by Command Zone editor Manson Lung, by the way.
Oh, that's who did it?
Yeah, because we were like, who has a deep voice?
I was wondering. I was like, that's a cool voice.
Yeah. Manson just has a deep voice.
Wow.
He's not a big dude, but he's got this like really deep voice. He could be a good trailer VO guy in a world.
In a world, yeah. CHEVILL, of course, says at the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, you put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker. Actually, we will probably mention this later, but this bounty counter did make a difference, because if that creature dies, life gets gained in that sort of last little standoff that we had in the game.
But the important part is that it checks and says, well, do your opponents control any permanents with bounty counters on them? If the answer is yes, CHEVILL doesn't do anything there. It only says, oh, if there are none, I'll put a bounty counter on something. But CHEVILL doesn't take 2 jobs at once.
Yeah.
But that would be broken. If he could just put bounty counters on everything.
I think on the day we actually were like, wait, shouldn't it trigger?
Yeah,
And
I think we did.
Then we read it. We're like, nope, you only get
just
one.
one, yeah.
So
Which is a sigh of relief probably for you at that point, D.
Yeah, that came in handy. That was a really clutch move. Like, we might talk about it later, but when I basically reanimated that
Benevolent Bodyguard?
that guy,
Yeah.
that little bodyguard, that little one.
Bodyguard that could.
Yeah,
I mean, from a gameplay standpoint, it definitely made it really confusing, because there's all these points where you had to go through all the possible blocks and everything, and then wait, but what if he sacks the bodyguard? And they're like, okay, this will happen, but she'll gain 3 life, and now the map is all... Okay.
Yeah, people kept saying, they're like, why don't you just sack the bodyguard to give your Nighthawk
pro,
protection from blue, so the agent of treachery couldn't get it? But it's like, you don't understand, because if I did that, then I'd be down a blocker.
Life.
She'd gain 3 life. I'd
she
no
draws
longer
a
have
card,
lethal.
too.
Yeah. And she draws a card, which was like my biggest fear, is people drawing cards, which you guys just kept doing. You wouldn't stop.
You have nightmares about that. I
Can't
guess
stop, can't stop,
won't stop. Yeah. Okay, well, there was another question about plant damage, but in this case, it was my 8/9 that attacked Carolyn.
It actually involves the Benevolent Bodyguard.
With the Benevolent Bodyguard before D took it over, yeah.
The VIP.
And so she sacks the bodyguard to give CHEVILL pro green, and people are asking, why does she still take 8 8 damage in this case. So
Yeah.
should we roll the clip?
Yeah, let's roll the clip.
I'm gonna go to combat. Carolyn, I will swing my commander, a 8/9, as well as a 4/5 at you.
Oh geez. I'll block Phylath with CHEVILL, and I'll block the bigger plant with the bodyguard.
Okay.
Before damage, I will sack the bodyguard to give CHEVILL protection from green.
Uh-oh. Okay, I admit I just completely forgot that CHEVILL has Death Touch, which means if it's blocking my commander's gonna go bye-bye. So I guess good thing I cast that Greater Good before combat. I can at least get some value out of it before it dies to the Death Touch. Okay, well, considering you did that, I will then tap 3 mana, and I'm going to play Roiling Regrowth. So sacrifice a forest. I'm gonna find 2 forests and put them onto the battlefield tapped. That's going to give me 2 more landfall triggers. So I'm gonna target this plant and that plant with the 4+1/+1 counters. So this will go up to an 8/9, and so will this one. And then before damage is assigned, I'm going to sacrifice my commander to the Greater Good to draw 5 cards, and then I'll discard 3. Ugh. So I will discard a Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, Bloomhulk, and a Soul Ring.
Wow.
And still in combat. Okay, so now damage.
Yeah. I'll take 8 and go down to 20.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see Jimmy is attacking Carolyn with Phylath, an 8/9, and a 4/5 plant. And so she blocks with the 2 creatures. She blocks the 2 biggest creatures, of course, because nothing's got trample. Then she sacks the Benevolent Bodyguard, gives CHEVILL protection from green, so it's going to live. And then a little bit later, she gets hit by an 8/9 plant. And everyone's like, wait, no, the plant was blocked by the Benevolent Bodyguard, so it shouldn't have hit her. And this is our fault, editing-wise. We just didn't make this clear. In the interim, because Jimmy was like, oh, Phylath is going to die.
Right.
I'm going to cast, I think it was Roiling Regrowth and some other stuff, and managed to put 4 more counters onto the unblocked 4/5.
Right.
So when the 8/9 hits her later, it's actually that 4/5 that was unblocked. But it's a little confusing because it looks the same, obviously. It's just a plant.
And they have all the same power and toughness, too.
Yeah, so we weren't incorrect. It's not like we dealt damage that shouldn't have been dealt, but we didn't explain that very well, that was the unblocked plant and not the 8/9 that the Benevolent Bodyguard blocked.
Yeah. I will say that was probably a misplay on my part as well, just to throw away, because I didn't realize CHEVILL had Death Touch.
Right. You're just thinking about the bounty counters and
Just thinking about the bounty counters.
Yeah, I
And you
remember
even said that in the episode,
When
yeah.
you were like, when you realize that Death Touch, you're like, oh, well, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, in that case, I'm going to draw a million cards off Greater Good. That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that part wasn't so bad,
Yeah.
right, D?
I'm the only person who didn't draw cards the whole game. It
Well, yeah,
feels
one
so
Liliana.
bad.
Until it mattered.
Until
It mattered,
yeah,
that one card.
Okay.
And Liliana.
All right, let's talk about the next section. It's not my favorite name for a section. It's JLK misplays.
At least it rhymes.
Yeah. I definitely made a number of misplays, and I was called out for it in this episode. So let's just go through them real quick. A couple of them are easy. 2 of them are just straight up mistakes. So a lot of people noticed that I tapped a red mana to cast SRAM.
And then I'm going to tap 2, and I'll play a Mind Stone. And then I'll tap 2, and I'll play a SRAM, Senior Edificer.
Yeah, so that's not legal.
Are you sure?
Obviously, my head was just saying it's 2 mana. I have 2 mana. I'll tap it. And
Yeah.
I had a plateau in the Shockland that I just tapped for the Mind Stone. So we could have rewound, and I just
Reordered something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reordered it and made it work. So it wasn't a huge mistake. Obviously, it's a little cheaty.
Also,
on my
none of us noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think in a regular game of Commander where nothing's on the line, we said, hold on, can I just
Yeah.
replay the Mind Stone and leave the 1 white untapped so I can do this?
It's like you have the mana to
Yeah.
do it. It's not like
Yeah, it would have been different
making
if
up
it
mana.
was like you're fetching and getting a wrong land.
Yeah.
Like Craig did.
basically.
That was the most egregious misplay we've ever had in the game.
The
We
wrong
all
fetch-
just sat there being like, what value?
All right, my second misplay / mistake was in sequencing with the cat tokens and the 1/1 counters off of Felidar Retreat. So let's play that clip.
So I'm going to then play the Scalding Tarn out of my graveyard using the Crucible of Worlds.
That's bad.
Trigger Felidar Retreat. I'm going to choose a second option. So I'm going to give a +1/+1 counter to each of my creatures and they get Vigilance. So Kiri's now a 6/6, and Relic Seeker goes to a 5/5.
That's not good. That's not good.
Then I'm going to crack the Scalding Tarn, going down to 19, and I will go find a mountain, put that into play, untapped. Landfall trigger, Felidar Retreat. And this time I'll make the 2/2 Cat Beast, and that will come into play.
So obviously you would want to make the token first and then put the counters on stuff, right? I put the counters to give vigilance and then made the token. So here's the thing. I had 3 landfall triggers that turn. I obviously wanted to give vigilance to my creatures so they could still block, because that sort of Feast and Famine is like so good against D and Jimmy specifically that I want my things untapped. So I could have had 1 more power on the board, basically. Make the cat first, then put the vigilance counter on, and the cat would be a 3/3.
Yeah.
The third trigger from landfall was a Sword of the Animist, which I could not
control when it happened.
Yeah, so I couldn't put the 1/1 counter at that point because they would already be tapped from attacking and they wouldn't have the vigilance. So I really was down 1 power basically the rest of the game. Not a huge mistake, but definitely a sequencing error on my part.
Yeah.
We'll say that in your defense, I don't think anyone, including yourself, realized what a card Felidar Retreat would be.
Yeah.
That card is insane.
Yeah, that card is really good.
Yeah.
That was our first time playing with that card, obviously, because it's a new set. And I just put it in because I was like, well, this will be good because it gives me creatures I can equip stuff to if they kill all my creatures.
Yep.
And it's not a creature itself, so that if they board wipe, at least I can like play a land, get a creature, equip my stuff to it, and still keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Not only did it just like completely set you off, but also completely stopped my plan of like casting Liliana and making you sack your 2 creatures.
yeah, just having fodder, right?
Yeah, and then on top of that, that card just so much value for that 1 card. It's insane.
Especially in your deck that is abusing Crucible Worlds and Fetch Lands.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're getting all of those triggers.
Perfect setup.
All right, and then let's talk about, and D, you talked about this a little earlier, you alluded it to. This is the most commented thing in all the comments, which is Josh, why didn't you just swing at D and kill him? You were looking for a removal for the flyers. Why didn't you just go with the Mel Lee strategy of have player removal? Let's play the clip here.
Okay, so I'm going to swing a Kiri and a cat at you, Carolyn, and then Relic Seeker at UD, cat and Stram at Liliana. On attack, I've got 3 triggers. Sword of the Animist will find a plains. That will come into play. Felidar Retreat will trigger again, so all my creatures are actually +1/+1 what they were before.
I'm not even worried here about the amount of damage I'm dealing or anything like that. I'm really just worried, do I draw something that kills a flyer?
And then a Kiri will trigger for the 2 creatures that are equipped, attacking different players, so I'll draw 2 cards.
So I draw my cards, 1, 2, and nothing. Nothing that saves me. No removal spell.
So yeah, D, you're at 34 there. And I believe by the time I swing, I have like 37 power.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I missed it, obviously. I remember actually thinking about it and being like, can I kill D? And adding up my power and is 32 power. And my brain didn't count the Sword of the Animist landfall trigger that was going to happen during combat.
Yeah,
Right.
me too.
Yeah, so I was like, my brain goes, okay, well, I can't kill D. So I can't kill him. If I leave him at 2, that doesn't help me a lot.
And you leave yourself open.
I'm still
I
going
have
to
huge
die.
creatures, yeah.
They're not going to kill him because they want his flyers to kill me. So I'm still going to die. So, and that draws me 1 less card because I would have to point everything at D, and that includes both my equipped creatures. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to split my attacks because I want to draw that extra card because I want to draw removal for the flyer, so every card counts.
Yeah.
So then once I'm splitting my attack, I was like, well, it doesn't, like, is it really great if I hit D down to like 12 or 13? So I was like, I'll just kill Lily, split my attacks, spread the love a little bit here, hope I draw removal, and then, we'll continue with this game. And so, yeah, I just forgot about the Sword of the Animist trigger that was going to happen during combat. And then that happens, and I'm like, oh, crap. I could have killed D.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do now, though? Hold on, wait. Can I just reorder my attacks now? No, I'm already in combat. So I was just like, okay, so that's how it happens. And
Yeah, that was the honorable thing to do because I thought the same thing. I was like, Josh can almost kill me because I didn't think of the Sword of the Animist trigger either. And
Right.
I was like, okay, so he's not going to do it. So I am free to fully swing out at him with these guys. But yeah, thank God we didn't realize that.
All right, the next section is called With Friends Like These.
Oh boy.
So there's a lot of people talking in the comments saying that if they were UD, basically they wouldn't have killed me, JLK, but instead maybe tried to ally with me and get me to try and take out Jimmy and Carol. A lot of people are basically like angry on your behalf that Carolyn was like, hey, let's form a party.
yeah.
Let's kill Josh. And then she basically did 2 damage to me. Jimmy did absolutely nothing to help. And then you just did all the work.
True.
And even...
Yeah.
Thanks, D.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
And
I'm
actually,
here for.
even on that turn where I'm about to die, like where I don't, like I missed the lethal damage on board, I split my attack, I kill Liliana, hit you for a little bit, hit Carolyn. On her next turn, she looks and goes, I don't even need to hit Josh at all.
Yep.
And swings at you and Jimmy and does a bunch of damage to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it too much at the point because I was like, there's not much they can do. Like, because you have massive board state, and
Right.
I was basically the only one who could do damage to you, so I didn't really think about it. But the fact that she did attack me afterwards, I'm just like, okay, I mean,
Sus.
it's very sus. Nice 2 damage you did to Josh there. I guess I'll do all the work.
Yeah, well, let's play the clip really quick.
Then I'm going to attack D with Tazri, the Stonework PACKBEAST, and Reese.
Oh,
The whole party is partying.
well, I don't have anything to block, so I begrudgingly take 7. And I'll go to 18. So it kind of seems at this point that Jimmy and Carolyn are 100% relying on me to take out Josh. Which I think is a little unfair because if they miscalculate this and Josh has an answer and lives, we're all dead. So I'm really hoping that they get their act together and help me out here.
It seems like Josh is pretty much dead. Hopefully D's flyers can finish him off next time. So I'm gonna turn my attention to these guys, my party members. Sorry.
I mean, the least she could have done is just not attack you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like
Very
hey, you're
least.
helping me. I can't hurt Josh, but I'll just not hurt you. But she's like, nah.
And also, what if Josh did draw a removal spell, right? You're still
Yeah.
holding it close to the chest. That 2 damage or something else, right? Could have made a big difference. You could have maybe swords your own person for life. There could have been a number of things that would have happened.
Yeah, if she had done something to help us out a little bit more besides the Assassin's Trophy, which was huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if she did an Assassin's Trophy then, who knows what would have happened. So I think I kind of give her a pass because of that play. But yeah, don't trust Carolyn. Don't team up with her. She's not a good party member.
Yeah. She, the one that forms the party cannot be trusted.
Yeah, at least
apparently.
Jimmy didn't attack me, okay? So
Yeah,
Jimmy and I
just did
can still
nothing.
party.
I was just like, all right, another free turn to develop my board. Jimmy Wong loves this.
Yeah.
Did you consider at any time, like, trying to make some overtures to me to be like, hey, maybe we should team up and you can kill Jimmy and Carolyn?
So as soon as you said you're basically alluding to the fact that you would kill yourself with your ancient tomb, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that Josh would do this, and like maybe I should do this, but you were such a threat the entire game. I was like, he could just immediately win out of
Right,
nowhere.
too dangerous.
And I can't let him live because he's just gonna kill all of us.
Right. It's like, yeah, we're teammates for 1 round, and then the next time you look at him, he's just ready to stab you in the back. You're
Yeah.
like, no!
Yeah.
And all it takes is for me to like draw Teferi's Protection or something,
Exactly,
and then all of
yeah.
a sudden, like,
Or
yeah.
another way to get the artifact back or something.
Yeah, there's probably so many ways in your deck. So I was like, I can't risk it, and at the same time, I keep my promises, and I am a good party member. So
Hey, it worked out for you in the end.
that's true. It did. Carolyn, I think also Carolyn knew, she was like, D is going to take out Josh with the flyers. So I'm just going to get free damage in while I can.
I mean, very savvy play on her part,
Yeah.
because she didn't actually make any promises not
Right,
to attack.
true.
Right?
Said, "Let's
she just
be a
said, "Hey,
party."
do you guys want to team up to kill Josh?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Okay," but there was no deal made about what that entailed.
Now
Exactly.
I think of it, that was a bad deal. That was
It's interesting because had you teamed up with Josh, let's say you did and you took out me and Carolyn, and then Josh had turned around and killed you, people would be like, why did you team up with Josh?
Yeah,
You should have
right.
teamed up with them.
it's always, 2020 hindsight.
There's no winning.
Yeah, there ain't no winning.
All right, we got a lot more to talk about, including potential regrets that maybe Jimmy has.
A lot.
But before we get into that,
Oh, we're talking about the game?
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
No,
for
just in
sure.
life, yeah.
yeah, the game.
all right, but before we get into that, we're going to take a quick break and hear a message from our sponsors.
You know, being a zombie in Amonkhet was way more fun before Nicol Bolas showed up and just started eternalizing everybody.
Yeah, no kidding. It used to be a pretty chill gig, and now it's work 24/7. Plus, we're out in the hot sun all day long. It is killing my skin, even though my skin's technically already dead.
The same thing was happening to me, but then I started using Lumen skincare products and it's made a huge difference. Here, feel this.
Wow, nice. Problem is, I don't know anything about skincare.
Neither did I, but Lumen makes it easy. They take all the guesswork out of it. Their products are expertly made to target skin issues with maximum effectiveness, and they use top-notch ingredients like charcoal, green tea extract, and vitamin C.
But I don't want to have to go to the market and stand in line and all that.
You won't! I got my latest shipment of high-quality products delivered straight to my pyramid door. Look, you need good skin health, especially as you get older, to prevent long-term damage.
Hey, hold on. Who you calling old? I'm not a day over 217.
Well, no matter your age, you deserve to look and feel your best. And here's where you start. Go to lumenskin.com/command to get a free 1-month trial of everything you need to start your skincare journey at home.
That's lumenskin.com/command to get your first month free. lumenskin.com/command.
Well, I guess break's over.
Typical. Didn't even give us our 15 minutes. I tell you, one of these days I'm gonna file a complaint with HR.
Oh, hi there. Sorry, I'm slightly out of breath. I won't lie. Line slinging here among the cliffs and hedrons of Zendikar is pretty dangerous work, but they don't call me a Kiri fearless voyager for nothing. One of the ways that I stay focused is by listening to some really great music. But the thing is, I've already got all these ropes and pickaxes and other metal thingies, so I really can't afford to get any more tangled up than I already am. That's why I use the wireless earbuds from Raycon. That wireless part is really important to me because, you know, I don't want to tumble to my death, but they're also comfortable, discreet, and stylish. The company was co-founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Brandy, Snoop Dogg, and Mike Tyson are obsessed with Raycons. Plus, they're only about half the price of other premium brands on the market, but they sound just as amazing. And their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. So now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/command. That's buyraycon.com/command for 15% off your wireless earbuds. Again, buyraycon.com/command.
All right, we are back talking about, obviously, Game Night's Zendikar Rising, and this next one involves me. It's called Fling Regrets. By the way, I will say a lot of amazing animations this episode. However, I think the Fling one was my favorite because it's just the simplest, and it's exactly what the card does. Like,
Yeah, and it moves in three-dimensional.
We actually finished that maybe like, I don't know, less than 12 hours before the episode came out.
Wow.
Like, you know, it was like one of the last ones we finished. We're here at like 11 o'clock at night the night before, and we're like, yep, that's it. We had the idea that that's what we wanted to do, and a lot of times when you have it and you're like, yeah, we can do that, it's going to be pretty easy, you just kind of put it to the end. So
yeah, well, let's play the clip of when it happens. I'm going to tap another 2. I'm going to cast Fling. I'm going to sacrifice my plant token.
Oh no. Fling can hit a player. I'm a player. So in this moment, I'm thinking that Jimmy's gonna fling this at my face.
Here's the thing, I could just fire this damage at Carolyn and finish her off, but looking at the board, D has a 4/4 flyer, and I think Carolyn's a huge threat against him in a 1v1, so I'm hoping that D spends a little bit of his turn getting rid of her, and that's gonna give me the perfect opportunity to finish it off the next turn. Okay, I'm gonna sacrifice my plant token and send 16 damage at D.
Wow. Okay, I take 16.
Go to 8.
And there are a lot of comments, obviously, about my use of Fling here because I chose not to kill Carolyn. And there was a number of reasons why I wanted to do this. One, Carolyn was at a low life total, and throwing 16 damage at someone at a low life
when
total.
they're at 4, yeah.
When they're at 4,
wasting 12 damage.
Yeah, I was just like, as a red player, that's just it's like a moral quandary for me to do that. So instead, I chucked the damage at D because I was under the assumption, and I say this in the interview as well, that D has the perfect opportunity to take Carolyn out. And to me, I'm like, okay, my board looks really weak. Greater Good is gone. All of my key pieces are out. I may have a lot of mana, but other than that, you know, D still has a flying vampire army, and looking at Carolyn's board, building up all the cards she's drawing, surely he's going to want to take her out, give me another turn, and then we're back in the business. Not to mention, I also am holding the best 6 cards in my deck at that point.
Yeah, you'd drawn like, what, 20 cards off Greater Good and chose the best ones,
Yeah. So that, to me, was like, cool, I think this is a good play. D takes me out here. It wouldn't make sense because he's just clearly ignoring the real threat on the board, and he just recognized that Josh was the threat beforehand.
That's what I think is really interesting, because D was just in a similar situation, and you saw him react in exactly the way you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
He killed me, but in this instance, D decides to actually take the other road, the road that some people thought you should have taken with me,
right,
and team up with Carolyn to kill you, who he sees as the greater threat. Do you want to walk through that a little, D?
Yeah, I mean,
did you consider taking Carolyn out there?
I was not afraid of Carolyn at the point. I knew Jimmy just drew a grip of cards, and he had probably, like he said, the best cards in his deck, in his hand.
At least the top 20. Right?
Yeah, and I was like, if it hits Jimmy's turn, he has so much mana. There's not really much I'm going to be able to do about it. And I knew, I was like, Carolyn's at 4. I can take her out at any time. It's not a problem. She wasn't a threat, and you were definitely a threat. Like, she hadn't drawn a lot of cards at that point. She did later. But
Maybe it was
yeah,
my
you
mistake
were-
to play the Mage Slayer is another thing I was thinking, because that on board just
was
said
nasty.
someone's gonna die, right? That's what that card says.
Yeah, that's another thing. You
Well,
put a
with
huge,
Xenagos, right?
Yeah,
So any big creature, even just
That
your
was
commander,
nasty.
which if he assumes somehow amazingly you don't have a huge creature in your hand after all the even Phylath comes out, becomes 10 power, swings, does 10 damage right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of people questioning the timing on the fling. Did you consider holding on to it? Because that was kind of put him so low. Maybe if
Yeah.
he was still at, I don't remember, 20 something, he would have been more willing
It would have been
to
8
kill
instead.
Carolyn and
Yeah.
then think like Jimmy probably can't kill me.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And for me, again, I was just looking at all that damage on the board and how much I could do in one. So I was
Dude, I
like,
gotta
this
do
is
it.
sweet
Yeah.
Christmas land. I just did like 32 damage in a single turn.
Well, you'd
So-
have to do it on that turn.
Right, well,
Fling.
Xenagos because of the buff.
Yeah,
had
so
I not, it would have been much
would've
less, but
way
I could
less
have
damage.
waited maybe. But I
Just to
think
be less scary.
just to be less scary. Yeah, maybe not make you as angry, right? Because doing that clearly irked.
No, I respect what you did.
Well, you also-
go for the big play, the big damage.
Yeah. It's interesting because you all, it's, that's very Jimmy to just be like, whatever, I can do a big explosive thing. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah,
Kinda like it was Claymat,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like maybe strategically I should hold this and wait for a better timing, but I can do more right now. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah,
That's a green-red player for you.
Yeah, that's me in a harp in a nutshell.
I think the camera is definitely playing to that because I do that way more on the show than I
Oh,
would in a normal
yeah.
game too. Where it's like, well, whatever, I could be dead by the time it gets to me, so I can do this now and show what my deck can do. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it when you get the chance.
I feel like Craig does that too. Maybe just playing Gruul brings it out in you.
Craig does that in regular games. Cameras or not. Like, that's just Craig. Craig don't care if the camera's on or not. That's how he plays.
That's true.
All right, let's talk about the next thing. So at this point in the game, Jimmy gets knocked out, and there's this little throwaway line that's in the episode where Carolyn says, there's a lot of math. In fact, we've got a clip. Let's play the clip.
Untap my million billion permanents, and then I will draw a card. Okay.
Can you kill him this turn?
Can I
18
kill him
damage. You
this
have a lot of damage. He has 5 blockers.
I know my board looks full and I have a ton of creatures, but they're all really little creatures. So I'm counting up my stuff and how many blockers D has. Also having to factor in that some of his stuff has lifelink. It's a lot of math, but I don't think I can kill him this turn.
So the funny thing is here is on the day of shooting, we get down to 1v1 between Dee and Carolyn, and I think that rest of that game takes like 5 or 6 minutes in the episode, right? It's not
With
very
real
long.
life.
There was about an hour of raw footage from that point in the game to the end because it was so complicated because you were both at a low life total, so any little misstep was going to mean that people were going to lose, and there was so much like you guys were going back and
There's
forth.
interaction. Yeah, there was like lifelink on my board, and then there was like the bounty counter, on the bodyguard, which would gain her life, and like she was always like just at the range of lethal. It was super complicated.
Spoilers
I
of
was like,
Adventure gained her life as well. There's
Yeah.
like so many things that happened.
and then-
And she had a lot of creatures, but you're right. Your lifelink was like there. She does. There's that attack, and some people were kind of questioning, being like, at the end of the attack, I think you're low enough that it looks as if she could have attacked with all her creatures and killed you, but. What happens is you decline to block with a couple of your creatures so they don't die, so you have them to swing in because you know you're not in danger of dying yourself.
Yep.
If you had been forced to block with the lifelink creature, then all of a sudden it would change everything, all the math around, and basically the way it came out is like if she swung all out, you would for sure win because you would survive with enough creatures and she would have no blockers,
yeah.
And so it got super, super complicated. I just remember on the day we were just like,
Yep.
everyone was like, oh my gosh,
Everyone's just
I don't know
scratching
what
their head.
anybody should do. Like,
Yeah, we're just like, okay, if he does all this and attacks all that, like, what would happen?
Yeah, and
it's
then
like,
also my graveyard's gone, so your lifelinker is smaller than it was
Yes,
a second ago, too.
yes.
So there's all of these small things that, had we
So many
walked through it,
factors.
it would have been quite a bore, I think, for viewers, because it's just talking about theoretical numbers and, like, you can't really see what's happening.
that was one of the most complex endings of any Commander game I've played, and it
All came down to
took
the last
so
part.
long.
yeah.
and it ended up being
literal
a
hour for what ends up being on screen, like 5 minutes or so, or maybe even less. Big props to Jake Boss and Josh Murphy, who are the editors on the show, because I think watching it, it's not complicated at all, and it just plays, and that's a testament to how well they told the story in that it just, you have no clue at all how complicated it is. It's just everything makes sense, and it gets to the end, and it works. So big
felt
props to
bad
those guys.
During the filming, I was like, they're gonna have to do so much editing in this part to cut out all
cut
this
it down,
dead time
yeah.
where we're just like, what do we do?
I'm glad they included my favorite screen grab of the whole episode. I think Carolyn casts the Spoils of Adventure, and then you just watch her draw those cards, and your eyes just...
Oh my God.
It's like you're watching your child get born or something. You're
I
just
was
like, I
so
can't believe it. You're like, whoa.
I was so jealous.
Yeah, I would have been jealous too. I was looking, I was like, wow.
I wanted to be in the game. I wanted to be drawing all those cards.
Those are my cards. I was
playing blue.
I was so scared every time she drew a new card. I was like, oh my God, if she draws one removal spell, I'm done.
Oh, well, we should say this. I think if she was here, maybe she would mention it. One of the cards she did draw at the end there was a removal spell.
Really?
But it was Anguished Unmaking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Which does
too.
3 damage to her. So that actually made the math even more complicated.
Wow.
So if you'll see, going into Dee's last turn, she actually leaves up some mana, enough mana to cast Anguish Unmaking. And looking at her hand going into your last turn, I was pretty confident that there wasn't a great way out of this because of Anguish Unmaking. Worst case scenario, she can kill anything super scary. She was at 7, she'd go down to 4, but she'd kill one of the flyers,
and block and still make it, and then crack back.
Yeah, I mean, you end up drawing Grey Merchant or drawing Siphon Mind and then Grey Merchant, kind of nuts
Just
there. Yeah,
pretty nuts. Like, I was like, nothing feels so bad than Siphon Minding one player. But then it leading to the card you need, it's...
Yeah, but if you look on that last turn, there's no way for Anguish Unmaking to kind of get her out of it. And that was another part where you like played it, it's on the stack, and Carolyn's like, can I save myself somehow? And I'm looking around and be like, yeah, you could, nope. The 3 damage, dang it. No, there's just no way out of it because of that card.
And I think if she did it to the Benevolent Bodyguard, it's an exile effect, so she doesn't get the Chevill trigger either. So there's just like all sorts of little things that didn't happen.
And it could have potentially made my Nighthawk stronger too.
Right. By
like
putting an instant in the graveyard.
That and like another creature would be dead. It's like, it's just so much math.
All right, so let's talk about the very last play of the game. So you draw Grey Merchant of Asphodel and you play it. In fact, let's play the clip.
Ooh.
So now what happens?
That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to sack Yahenni, as weird as it sounds, to Phyrexian Altar for a black mana, and then I'm going to tap 4 more to play Gary. Ooh.
Grey Merchant.
So my current devotion to black is 6, which means you take 6 and I gain 6. Okay, I'll go up to 11.
So here we are where we were 2 turns ago. He's got 2 flyers, I've only got 1. This is it, this is bad, this is the end.
And then I'm going to declare attacks, and I'm going to swing at you with both Drana and Nighthawk.
So
Love that card.
It brings Carolyn down to 1 life there, and she's only got 1 flyer. You've got 2 flyers. We say it over and over in the episode just to make sure everybody knows that situation. But there was a lot of people that pointed out or thought, maybe a better or cleaner way to sort of make sure that you win this game is to sack the Grey Merchant to Phyrexian Altar. It goes to the graveyard, then you attack, and Drana brings the Grey Merchant back on the battlefield for another 6 damage.
That would have been the better play, you're right. Everyone in the comments was right about that.
No, they're wrong.
Really?
They're wrong. Here's why.
You have to sacrifice other things to be in your graveyard, right?
Well, because Drana allows your opponent to choose a non-legendary creature in your
and
graveyard.
The Null Priest was in the
Null
graveyard.
Priest of Oblivion was in the graveyard. So Grey Merchant would not have come back out. So there's no way she's choosing the card
No
that's
big deal,
going to
just
kill her.
made the perfect play. It's
Yeah.
all good. Just perfect at Magic.
Dust
Always
off your
make
shoulders.
the best plays. It's all good.
He totally knew that, and that's why he didn't do it.
Totally knew
Exactly.
it. That's it. Yeah, that card is the best. Gary, he looks like he's such a nice looking guy too. So like I always like playing him.
He's just having a good time.
Yeah, mono black is definitely my favorite commander color to play, which is weird, but
Very surprising.
yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you do
Totally
have,
weird.
Totally weird.
I mean, come on. Yeah, I have a white shirt on.
Maybe you have your face on the vampire. We should show that card, by the way. What is it called again?
Oh, so I wanted to mention this. Okay,
let's talk about the vampire card that is you.
So basically, when I vampiric tutored, I had 3 choices in my head. I was like, I'm either going to get Crypt Ghast, because the mana is always good to have. I was going to get Liliana, because I needed the card draw really desperately. Or I was going to get my own card, Vengeant Vampire, which is a rare from M19.
It's like from one of those
you're looking at it on screen right now if you're watching the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, in fact, just smile at this camera right here. Or wait, make the there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
That was the Look, it looks just like D.
Yeah.
Why? Why does it look like you, D?
Because
it is him.
It is
It
me.
is him.
The very talented artist Mitchell Malloy. He contacted me and was like, "Wizard wants more Asian vampires. Would you like to model for it?" And I was like, Heck yeah, I'd like to model for it. So
And you love vampires.
and I love vampire, and it's actually a really good card, and it works great in this deck. So I regret not vampiric tutoring for that because
you could have played yourself on game nights.
I know. I trust me. Like for 2 nights after game nights, I couldn't sleep. I was like, why didn't I pick that card? Why didn't I do that? Because not only would it have been really cool to play my own card, but
the card actually would have been good in that.
Really good. Yeah, it would have had life 4/4 lifelink, and then when it dies, I could target destroy a creature, get it back from the graveyard, sack it again if I need to at instant speed. It synergized so well with Drana. I picked Liliana because at the time Josh had 2 really scary creatures on board. Right. Basically everyone had 2 creatures on board, and I was like, boom, I'm gonna play this, make everyone sack, but I was 1 turn behind because by the time I could do it, Josh already made all these cats, man.
Yeah.
Felidar Retreat.
Cool cats.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the artist name?
Mitchell Malloy.
Okay, can you give Mitchell our number?
Oh yeah.
War Asian Vampires.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You have to be a
it's like the Brotherhood.
but you have to be a mono black vampire though.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I totally could be a
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're black right now.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
We're ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, we cosplay.
I'll give him
for
a
the
call.
role.
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, thanks, Mitchell.
All right, so that was the end of the game. Obviously, congratulations, D,
Very nice
winner
job.
of the game. Let's talk about some things after the game. First question I wanted to ask you both was, now that we've played the decks and things, is there anything you would change about your deck? Maybe I know a lot of people, they get inspiration from game nights for decks they want to build and stuff. So having played it, having gone through the all of that, is there anything about the deck that you were thinking like, okay, if I could do it again, I would maybe change these things about it?
I definitely need earlier interaction because I realize when you watch the game, I'm like Signet on 2, doing a ramp thing, building stuff out, playing my commander, wait.
Yeah.
And so I think just having something else to do in those early turns, a creature even to block, because again, like imagine if you weren't able to swing in with your renowned creature.
Yeah.
That would have been a big difference.
I don't get the Sword of Feast of Famine.
You don't get the Sword of
Totally
Feast of Famine.
different game,
And the game would have completely shifted there. So I think for me, like I have a tendency of building higher on the curve, and Phylath himself, itself costs a decent amount of mana. So I was like, I just got to ramp out to it and then focus on the land part of it, as opposed to like maybe there are creatures that work and synergize with that as well as help protect me in those early turns.
Maybe some plants. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some shrubbery or something.
More Gate Creeper vines. My favorite little shrubbery in there.
How about you, D?
I mean, I wish I put a little more mill in my deck. I had a bunch of sack outlets. I think I had like 6 or 7 sack outlets in my
And
deck.
you got a couple of them out.
And I got a couple, but my card draw was just not there. So I was more relying on drawing creatures, playing them, sacking them, and recurring them. While without the card draw, you can't really do that. But mill kind of replaces card draw in that sense, so that you have this pool of creatures to draw from.
Imagine if you milled yourself for 8 to 10 cards somewhere in that
Exactly.
game. That's probably 3 or 4 creatures now that you have to choose from whenever you attack with Drone.
Yeah, and I had some really nice creatures in there, like Kokusho and like Grave Titan stuff. Like it would have been really great.
You got a weird idea of nice.
Nice for me.
Vengeant Vampire.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would have loved to draw those cards.
Or like a Buried Alive or that sort of stuff too.
Exactly. Like I had Entomb and all these cards in there to put creatures in my graveyard. I just didn't draw them, or any cards for that matter, the entire game basically. So
A little more card draw, maybe a little more mill.
Definitely more card draw. Definitely put way more card draw on your decks. If you think you have enough card draw, you don't. I'm going to say that.
And
I've been preaching that for years.
Yeah. Mono Black definitely has the ability to ramp as well. We had the Cabal Coffers you discarded. You talked about, So in that case, card draw definitely does seem like the number one. Like, gotta have it.
Yeah, I like my deck a lot. I wouldn't change much. I think a little more interaction. Although there is, if you look at the list, there's a decent amount of interaction. I just didn't happen to draw it. I mean, that happens.
Yeah. More Felidar Retreats for sure.
Oh man, that card was way better than I thought. I was like, I'll try it. But I think it's probably like it's like the 63rd, 64th card in the deck. Like I could see cut it, and then as soon as I played it, I was like, oh no, this is one of the best cards of the deck.
One of the best cards in the deck.
I remember when you played it, you didn't seem excited at all to play it. I mean, we were all just like, what is that? Oh, that seems okay. And then 2 turns later, we're like, oh my god, this card, we gotta get rid of this card.
Oh my god, who gets enchantment removal?
And I was like, good luck, guys. I'm mono black.
Yeah.
You got 1 2.
I had that one, which is new in Zendikar.
What is it? Feed the Swarm?
Yeah, Feed the Swarm. It's a black card that gets rid of enchantments, which is really cool.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Another comment that was seen or heard a million times is why no Omnath?
The 4-color Omnath sounds black.
That sounds fun to edit.
Yeah.
That does not sound fun to build a mana base around. I will say those 4-color decks are hard to build mana bases around.
Yeah, I mean, we've told the process by which we do game nights, which is people pick the commander that they want to play, and those are the commanders that they play. We don't generally, I wouldn't say we've never like made some stipulations, but we don't generally say, oh, you only can pick this one. Like, D, we just sent you all of them and said,
Yeah, they
and
sent me a big list.
Yeah, and of course you picked the Mono Black Vampire one.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah, there's like 20 whatever to choose from.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, oh, like I didn't want to play the Omnath because to me, I know what that deck looks like. It's just all the landfall triggers, all the Lotus Cobra type effects. Like, yes, it was going to be very powerful, but I didn't think it was going to be super it wasn't going to be unlike other things. Like I played Uro just a couple episodes ago. It was like 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, or whatever. But anyway, like that, I felt like that deck was going to feel very samey. And Akiri was something where I thought would be cool and not the same as something I already done before. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
for me, like I look at Omnath and I just think, boy, that's a lot of triggers. Boy, that's a lot of just mental tax to keep up with. And on an episode of the game that you're doing a lot, you're filming, you're trying to make sure you announce your plays right. And for me, I remember because Craig played a red-green deck that was all about lands. And I was like, wait, is Phylath going to be the same thing? And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put in that many, there might not be any, put extra lands into play this turn cards, like, like your Azusas and stuff. So I was like, I can build this separately, differently, throw in the fling strategy, make it more me. So like, that's fun to me.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I think everyone played a deck that's very much them.
Yeah.
And that's what Game Nights is all about. That's what Commander's all about, is playing what you think is cool and building it the way you want to build it.
Yeah, whether it's competitive or not, up to you.
Yeah, it's like, even if I don't win, this is the deck I want to play. I think this is cool, and I think it represents me. So I think that's what it's all about.
I think Carolyn was, of course, 100% that. I remember we sent out the list of what the commanders were, and like 5 minutes later, she was like, Tazri, I'm having a party. Like, she was like all in on that idea.
And specifically, she's like, just so I can play Outlaws Merriment.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I love that.
So that's the reason I think a lot of people out there choose what they're playing. So yeah, there's always, every single episode, there's going to be commanders we don't play. I'm sorry you're disappointed, but we can't play them all. We're just going to play the ones that, for whatever reasons, we feel like playing on that episode.
Yeah, there's a list of like 12, so we got to pick a couple.
Yeah, I think there's like 20-something for this one. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And Commander Legend's going to have 70, so I'm sorry. Everybody's favorite commander, we're probably not playing it. There's 70. There's only 4 of us.
Can't believe you didn't play my favorite card.
20 episodes of Game Night Slayer. All right, we have finished our Commander Legends playthrough.
I don't think people would complain about that. That'd be pretty cool. Except for your
Jake
editors.
and Murph would complain.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Sam would complain.
I will say rest in peace to one thing that we didn't get, which is a sweet Omnath animation.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
That would have been pretty cool, right? Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll come up. There's fan episodes and other chances to play. Yeah, exactly.
Turns, yeah.
Yep.
Or maybe our people that are auditioning to be on Game Nights could bring an Omnath.
That's true.
That's
true.
true. All right. So you guys are going to just let them bring whatever they want?
It doesn't exactly work that way.
Yeah,
but
we'll discuss with them.
But in general, we want them to bring decks they love because that's how, that's what the fan episodes are about. So
I will say it's really cool that you guys do the fan episodes. Those are always really fun to watch. And they seem like they're having such a good time on the show. Because I had a great time on the show. And I've known you guys for years.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is so cool. I get to be on Game Nights.
He was like, this is going to be no fun at all.
No, come on. No, it was
wow,
great.
I actually had a great time. Didn't expect
to
that.
my surprise, being on the best Magic the Gathering show on the internet was really fun.
It was nice. It's always nice bringing fans because you see that they, everyone plays Commander in a similar way to have that kind of fun, and it's great to have them, reaffirm that fact that people like this game for those reasons.
And the fact that I'm sure when you guys pick who you guys have, you're looking for people that you really want to showcase have like the right attitude.
Oh, 100%.
And who are have the right spirit of Commander. And I think that's really cool and helps a lot of people kind of like, this is a good example of what you should be like when you play Commander kind of thing.
Lead by example.
Exactly.
And also good camera presence, because not everyone, even the most spirited, amazing person, if you put the camera on them, they're just like,
can't
bring you
that's
on.
why it's got to be auditions and not just like a random choosing. It's just too important for the show that the people on are, charismatic on camera. Otherwise, it's got to be watchable. So,
and you've done tons of camera stuff too, so that obviously helps.
Deep
prep
in our
you.
camera, maybe a little
bit.
Maybe.
You don't sweat it anymore, right? You're
No.
like, all right, now we're filming this. Cool, I got it. I understand.
No, maybe a little bit, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've been waiting to be on this show for so long. Every once in a while, I'd be hanging out with Jimmy, be like, Jimmy, when are you going to put me on Game Nights? We've known each other so long.
We're just waiting for the right spot. We needed a vampire that was mono black.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Joanna came around. It was perfect because Zendikar is actually the set that got me into Magic, the original Zendikar.
Nice.
So it was like kind of It all came full circle. So it's really cool.
We literally in the office, I was like, I'm sending the list of legendaries, but we know which one D's playing.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
hilarious.
Jake and I were like, he's playing the vampire.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Jake plays with you on Spell Table a lot, so so he knows your flavor as well.
Oh yeah,
That's hilarious.
He's always scared of my mono black deck, so it makes sense.
All right. The next topic here is one we get for basically every episode, and this episode is no different. A lot of love for the animations, the card animations that we did in this episode. And, well, let's play the clip.
Let's get this party started, shall we?
That one's pretty funny. Murph put it together. So let's talk about the Tazri animation I wanted to talk about really quick.
That was next level.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even know all those people were standing behind her. Like, they're all hidden in the art. I didn't know.
I paused it after, because I hadn't seen the final thing.
Right.
Usually I see the final ones when I see the episode or like the Patreon preview. I paused it and I went, no way. I replayed it like 3 times.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. You know, I've talked about the process before, which is we kind of get in a room, especially for, you know, you look at Tazri and she's a commander, so we have to animate that card. And you look at it and you're like, what do we do with this? Because
she's already just sort of resting on the ledge.
It's way easier if it's drawn because she's like flying and she's got a sword and there's magic going on. And like, we can have her fly in, all kinds of stuff.
There's motion in the picture already.
You look at Tazri and she's like, got her hand on a thing and she's looking at something. And it's just like, well, what do we have her do? And we started talking and we were like, well, she's got the party mechanic very much tied to her. Can we put the other party members, because we'd done the Vish Cal.
Right.
But then we were like, can we build this environment? You know, we're looking at Sam as always, and Sam's like, that'd be really cool. Yeah, but can you do it? I don't know. So he's like, let me go watch some YouTube tutorials. You know, and we come up with this plan and he's like, I think I can do it. And I'll say first, I want to say, this animation took a long time.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it took like days and days, like probably 4 or 5 times longer than most animations on the show take. Probably a little too long.
Right.
One of the reasons we were scrambling and up until midnight the night before a release to get everything finished is because I think we probably spent a little too long on Tazri. But it definitely was worth it. But he had to create that whole environment because it's all, you know.
It's a virtual camera movement through the pre-existing art. So there's a lot of painting out that has to get done, recreations of stuff. Also, like, some things may be blurry in the background that can't be blurry anymore. There's so many layers to this to make it work.
Yep. And then we had the bright idea because I watched the first take of it and I was like, it's sweet, but it kind of has a lot of dead air in it. And that can kind of be like the death knell of like, there's just not enough to keep people. And it just felt like it was cool, but it started to drag near the last couple of seconds of the animation. So I was like, can we have Tazri say something? And so we tried out a bunch of lines. We came up with this line that's like, what is it?
Let's get this party started.
Shall we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get this party started, shall we? And
which is a great line, by the way.
And so now we're in the position we're like, okay, well, that's a great idea, Josh. Now we got to have Tazri talk. So you got Tazri moving, and the first take, and maybe we can show the clip of like an early version where Tazri looks like a hand puppet. You know, it's like, and it doesn't look real at all. And the cool thing that Sam did to sort of make this look better was he recorded Alfred saying it.
Let's get this party started, shall we? Let's get this party started, shall we? Let's get this party started, shall we?
And then used Alfred's lips and like tracked it onto Tazri's and colored it and everything, so that's like
an
Alfred's
actual mouth,
lips as the mouth saying "shall we?" And you can actually see. He said it was way harder because of profile. It actually makes it tougher than straight on.
Right.
But you can see Tazri going, "Shall we?" And there's exactly. So
that's next level.
Yeah. So.
Maybe a lesson learned from our mid-rolls too, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that is one of we've been doing those talking cards, the advertisements for brands and stuff. And that was one of the things that made us think like, hey, maybe we could do that. So the sponsorship helping out in ways we never would have thought.
So shout out to Alfred for the mouth, and shout out to Lady Danger for providing that very cool rating of that.
Oh, that was Lady?
Yeah.
Nice.
Lady's the voice and Alfred's the mouth.
And Sam's the puppet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sam, always up in our game, and he's got an assistant now, Patrick, who also helps him a lot. And that's another reason that we've been able to up our animation game so much, is because Patrick's able to just make it so they can do so much more. Obviously 2 people can do more than one, so.
Yeah, definitely big shout out to those guys.
You guys definitely
great
here, I
work.
haven't done that yet. Let me just get
it
that
is.
out of
Nice,
here.
nice.
And speaking of the mid-roll ads, a lot of comments, especially about the Who Wants Million
Mana.
I do.
So we're very glad to hear people are enjoying the mid-roll ads. Our philosophy was we needed to start doing these ads. Obviously, the pandemic has affected all businesses
Everything,
this year and really hurt our business as far as revenue and things. And so one of the ways that we've kind of filled in the gaps is going out and finding these sponsorship deals. But there's stuff that we don't like about them, right? Like, we don't want a ton of ads in our
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't want to make it cheesy.
Yeah, when I'm watching stuff, I don't want a ton of ads to pop up, right? So we know that people out there don't want that. And so we were like, how can we make these better? Because we have to do them. And so one of the ways was, let's try and really integrate them into what we're doing, make them funny, make them little magic skits.
Magic, yeah.
Yeah.
It's genius.
So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And the question is, do you pay one for risk study is like brilliant. And I want to say that Sean Tabaris has been writing most of our ads, and he's one of the hosts of the Commander's Brew podcast.
Old friend of the show.
Yeah, and so we contracted him, and he's been writing tons and tons of these for us. And so he's one of the reasons that these ads have been, so good. And a lot of people, we heard from patrons who are like, I watched the patron episode, but it doesn't have the ad breaks, because we give the patrons not only an early look at Extra Turns and Game Nights, but also an ad-free look.
Yeah.
And then patrons were saying, but I actually went and watched the full version, just the ad part, because I wanted to see what you guys were doing.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
Big love to our patrons, too.
Whoa.
Thanks. Appreciate
You have
it.
some good patrons. Wow. That's
we appreciate it, patrons.
All the love. They rock.
Speaking of love, a lot of love for you, D.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I saw that. I appreciate it. It's really nice of you guys being so nice to me in the comments.
A lot of people, we have a lot of crossover with Node.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people recognize you, and a lot of people are like, D plays Magic?
Yeah, people have no idea. I'm like, I have my own card, guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
In fact, I will say that Dee and Craig are the 2 primary reasons I got really into Commander when we first started playing, right when Josh and I were first like, what is this?
Yeah, I remember back. How long ago was that?
That was about 6 years ago, and I've known you for about 7 to 8.
Yeah, so it was like a year or 2 after Jimmy and I started hanging out and stuff, we all like kind of just collectively, I don't know exactly why, but we all
one
started
night
playing.
I played at your house with some other people, and I remember just equipping 5 different things onto that indestructible ooze.
Oh,
and
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
It was just the greatest. I was like, this is great. This is so cool. And then it got
remember.
removed by a tragic slip, and I was like, whatever.
My ooze somehow slipped and fell.
Yeah, I remember.
I
I remember
telling
that.
that story.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, how does an ooze trip and fall? And it also has like 6 swords sticking out of it. Like,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Wait a minute. Didn't my Goblin Engineer get killed by a tragic slip?
It did.
Yeah.
D, ruining dreams with tragic slips
Tragic
since like
slip.
2014 or
I
something.
mean,
Yeah.
I gotta keep the tradition alive, you know?
That is a classic D card.
Yeah,
I will
I
say
mean,
that much for sure.
it's so good. That's crazy. We've been playing for so long. I remember you said early on when we were first hanging out, we were talking about how I used to play Magi Nation.
Yeah,
And you were really big into that. And I was also really big into it. Like, we both bonded because, like, we used to draw fan art for it.
Yeah,
like a
it's
long time
very,
ago.
Weeby,
It's
an
the nerdiest thing you could do.
Game.
But I was like, oh, he does that. Like, do you play Magic? And we're like, yeah, let's play Magic sometime. And and then we started hanging out with Josh and Craig. And
This is before we made any content for it, too.
this is before Commander was even officially a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
We
like
draft a lot. We would play just random.
Yeah, this was
Commander
back
things.
when it was just like this Elder Highlander thing that people are doing online.
Right,
Want to try it?
Like maybe
Yeah.
the first precons with Animar had come out at that point.
I think it was
that that.
2013 or like early 2014.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was like, but most people didn't know about it.
Yeah, it was like very new. I remember like
pretty
Talia
underground.
like came out recently. And, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a card.
Yeah, Kelly,
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
we've known D for a long, long time.
Yeah, so it's great to be on and play with you guys officially on the internet because
Yeah.
Let's take this opportunity because a lot of people know you from Node, but you're not doing that anymore. You've got your own thing going on. Do you want to talk a little bit about CEREBRUSARMS and your YouTube stuff?
Yeah, I've been making my own content on my own gaming channel and streaming as well. I left Node like late last year and started working on my own thing. And it's really great. It's going well. I'm seeing a lot of support from Node subscribers and quarter people. And
You do a lot of VR stuff too, which I think is really cool.
I do a lot of VR. It's mostly VR focused, but I do a variety of games like shooters. Just like Node, I like to do a big mix of different stuff, live action stuff, like airsoft, stuff like that, stuff that you enjoy on Nodes. If you like Node, and you like the stuff I used to do, then I'm sure you'll enjoy the stuff I'm doing now.
If you like D, and if you like me, video games, go check it out.
And vampires.
Sure. And vampires, yeah.
And the color black.
And the color black.
Then come on over.
It's CEREBRUSARMS on YouTube. We're going to show that on screen right now. But also, if you're listening to it or you don't remember later, the links will all be on the show notes. So check below the video. Yeah.
And you've definitely got a big gamer cred, I would say. You paint Warhammer miniatures. You got a very impressive collection.
Are you saying? I mean, you're calling me out a little bit, but you're right. I'm like the biggest nerd ever. It's pretty rough, but you know, I feel like I wear it well.
Biggest nerd with the coolest hair, though.
I have the makeup with the haircut.
But it's all in that fantasy world, you know.
True, yeah.
I think that's really neat.
You know, I'm all about it. Magic, Warhammer, D&D, anything that's nerdy, I probably am into it. So it's great to play Magic again. I remember for a long time I stopped.
Yeah, you took a big break.
I took a big break because I'll be honest, when I first started playing Commander with Jimmy and Josh, I was terrible at making decks. I was building just like Timmy decks left and right, and I would lose all the time, and I was just like so tired of losing. So I took a break for a couple years, and then when you guys started doing game nights in Command Zone, I was watching your content, and I was like, man, I miss playing Commander. Like, that was really fun. And
got him.
Yeah, you reeled me in.
Come on back.
And then by then, my deck building skills got a little better.
Yeah,
just a little bit better.
And really, it was just about curve going down.
Yeah, basically.
Big part.
That and more interaction.
More ramp, all the good stuff. Yeah.
And then once I started building better decks with more interaction and, actually watching YouTube videos on how to build better decks, I'm like fully obsessed again. I just made 3 new decks.
Got him to the point where he comes out and kills us on our own show.
Yeah.
Right? That's happened.
Okay, you have to tell us what new decks you made.
Okay, so since Halloween's coming up, I built 3 spooky commander decks.
Wow.
That are very themed. I built a Sir Conrad deck, which is a just general...
Another mono black deck.
Yeah, just a general Halloween theme. I have like All Hallows Eve in there. I have like Dance with the Dead. Basically, every card in the deck is spooky and Halloween themed. And then I did Gissa and Geralf. It's a strong zombie deck.
What color is that one?
It's blue.
And
has a little bit of black in there, you know? Okay, but it's mostly blue.
Okay. Oh, cool. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then I did Geist of Satan Draft. It's a ghost
nice.
deck. So it's all ghosts, all
okay.
spirits. They're not the most competitive decks, but they're very like flavorful. So
Sir Conrad can be real.
Oh, Sir Conrad's nasty.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't wait to play that. I'm actually playing it later today. So
oh, nice.
All right.
Well, let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to you again, D, as well as Carolyn, who couldn't make it here today. If you guys want to follow Carolyn, her social stuff as well is going to be in the notes below, so you'll be able to see it all there.
Yeah, definitely, Carolyn. She streams on Twitch a little bit. Works with
she
you
does
at Ven,
Twitch.
Jimmy,
She does a lot of Ven stuff as well. So.
Give her a follow. Another props to Jake and Murph, who are the editors on Game Nights.
Killed it.
They did such a great job. So
yeah,
very, very happy that everyone's liking the episode. Okay. Big
and send them love too if you see them.
Yeah, send them love on Twitter or in the comments. They read all the comments for all this stuff. Okay, if you want to buy any Magic cards, maybe some Zendikar Rising cards, maybe some
vampires, mono black.
Yeah,
commanders?
I was gonna say like collector's boosters or set boosters. Set boosters look kind of cool actually. Yeah. I want to play some Pygal with some set boosters. I don't know why, because you can get more rares than the other person. That seems fun. Anyway, if you want to do any of that, or you want to buy the singles, Omnath. Everybody loves Omnath. If you want to buy Omnath, just go to cardkingdom.com/commandzone. You know you're gonna get this stuff anyway. You may as well use our affiliate link when you do, because you'll just be simultaneously supporting all of our content.
Yeah, it's easy. You type it in and you're on the website and you can just continue as normal, but now you're supporting us at the same time. And of course, big thanks to our patrons, patreon.com/commandzone. They get to see the episodes a day early without the amazing ads, obviously. That
might be a downside now.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to put the ads in the Patreon version though.
Yeah. Also, patrons get to audition to be on game nights. And if you want to find out the rules on how to do that, as well as the timeline, it's all going to be in the show notes below. That's the best place to find it. Really looking forward to seeing all the auditions this year. They're always a blast to watch through and just see the collective passion that everyone has for this game.
For sure. Those are some of our favorite episodes to do every single year. So can't wait to see what y'all come up with for your auditions. All right, you want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for your attention. For further inquiries, send an email to commandcast@rocketjump.com or ask us on Twitter @JFWong and @JoshLeeQuai. See you later, alligator.
Greetings, humans.